Hi everyone, welcome to Free Movement Dance Solutions. So today we're going to talk about a really fun topic, which is how do you build your dream dance studio? Now, all of us have a dream dance studio in mind, whether it's a home dance studio or a commercial dance studio. We all have thoughts of, okay, what if I want to teach dance or if I just want to practice at home, right? Today we're going to talk about all the different aspects of a dance studio that you should consider about when you're building that dream place of yours to dance in. Most importantly, we're going to talk about how to prevent injuries and to make sure that whether it's yourself or your friends or, your students dancing together, everyone's going to be safe, healthy, and dancing happily for a really long time and for a lifetime. So let's get started talking about the different aspects so that you can actually start to dream about your dance studio. So there are 6 different things that I'm going to talk about over here, but if you have any questions about any of them at any point of time, don't forget to drop it down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to have more videos like these coming up in the future. Let's talk about the 6 different aspects written down over here so that you actually understand it before we head over to our free movement dance studio, and I'll show you all of these different things. Well, definitely the first thing you want to consider when you're building a dance studio is whether you want to have a personal home studio or you want to have a commercial dance studio where you teach classes and stuff like that. Those are of course important things to actually keep in mind because the space and the size and the different parts of the dance studio coming together would make the most sense to you depending on whether you want a home studio or a commercial studio. But the 6 things I'm going to talk about over here is going to be for both home and commercial studios. So let's talk about the very first aspect. So in building your dream dance studio, of course, the first thing you're going to need is your flooring. Now, flooring is really important. You're going to mainly have a few different things. So first thing is you're going to need a Marley dance mat. Another thing to consider is you might consider a sprung floor. So these 2 are what we have over here at Free Movement, and yes, you can actually just get it from us, or if you need installation here in Singapore, we can do it as well. The third flooring that you do find at some spaces are vinyl floors. Vinyl floors are those click and lock long tile floors that you find, so those are an option as well, although I have to say that Marley mats and sprung floor helps to prevent injuries. Vinyl floors, they do not prevent injuries. So the most important thing to consider is what kind of flooring you have and what kind of budget you have for your flooring. Because to us here at Free Movement and to all of our clients, we all know that injury prevention is number 1. We think that flooring is the most important thing, definitely a good investment. And in fact, if you're a dancer and if you want to open a studio where you're going to have students, people are going to appreciate, your students are going to appreciate, the parents are going to appreciate that you actually have proper dance floors. Trust me on that. Been to so many studios, built so many studios, it makes a whole lot of difference for you and for every single dancer. Invest wisely in your floorings. Whatever you choose is up to you at the end of the day, but we definitely recommend proper dance floors. The next thing you're going to have to consider would be mirrors. Mirrors over here, you're going to have a few different types of mirrors you can consider. So you have the wall mirrors and you have mirrors on wheels. So 2 types to consider, mirror on the walls or mirror on wheels. Now, what do I mean by mirror on the walls? Mirror on the walls would usually mean that, for instance, we have our shatterproof frameless wall mirror, which means that we actually hang the mirrors on the wall. There are also mirrors where a lot of people do where you actually glue the mirrors on the wall. So both works. So it's up to you which one you want. Of course, the hung on wall frameless mirrors, our shatterproof mirrors are definitely more expensive than the mirrors that you glue on the wall, but that's because our mirrors can actually be removed in future and shifted to another place, yeah? So it's up to you which one you prefer for the wall mirrors. But for the mirrors on wheels, okay, it's interesting because we actually do have our shatterproof frameless mirrors on wheels and framed mirrors on wheels, and those actually you can move them around and shift them around. That's also depending on whether or not you have space, but just bear in mind, any mirrors with wheels are going to take up some leg space. Although our shatterproof frameless mirrors and basically all mirrors on wheels, the legs are actually really small and we made it that way to make sure that it doesn't take up too much space and it's still safe for dancers, like we don't actually hit our leg on it and stuff like that. So 2 things to consider, either wall mirrors or wheels. Now, of course, we definitely recommend our shatterproof mirrors. These mirrors are the definite best for dancers. Because shatterproof mirrors also means that when the mirror breaks, or if in the event that a mirror actually breaks, it's not going to fly around and just cut the dancer everywhere. It's going to remain still in big pieces. So definitely consider the types of mirrors you're going to invest in, because mirrors are one of the bigger investments as well. Alright, now the third thing would be bars and equipment, and this would depend on the genres of dance that you do. So if you do ballet, definitely need bars. If you're going to do, say, contemporary dance, you may or you may not need bars. If you're going to do street dance, likelihood is you don't need the bars. So bars are really essentially up to you. Now, equipment-wise, okay, there are different equipments that you might or may not have in your dance studio. You could have yoga blocks, you could have yoga mats, you could have resistance bands, you know, lots of different things. And I'm going to show you in our dance studio later as well. So this is really dependent on what you do and what you offer in your dance studio, or what kind of genres of dance that you dance to. The fourth thing I'm going to talk about would be lighting. So if you see on YouTube like 1 million dance studio and lots of different dance studios going around the world, lighting is definitely something that they invested really heavily in. Now over here at Free Movement, we also have different types of lightings, which I'll show you. We have also movable lightings called RGB lights, just to change up the colors, but again, those are a little bit more fanciful. But just talk about lighting in itself, there are many different types of lighting, and of course we prefer lightings that are sports lights. Now spotlights makes a lot of difference, and it of course brings up a lot of the features. So we actually have two different lights that we play with over here in the studio. This is definitely something that you actually want to consider as compared to the traditional, you know, ceiling lights. They may not be as nice, especially when you want to get into that feeling as you dance, or if you want to take photos and videos, you know, spotlights always makes a lot of a difference. The fifth thing is going to be sound systems. Sound is so important for dance, regardless of genres of dance, but of course, certain genres of dance prefers a little bit more bass, certain genres of dance don't need the bass, okay? So it's up to you, but I always say that investing in a good quality sound system always makes a difference. Good brands such as Bose is a good brand, Harman Kardon are a good brand, you know, different brands out there that you can actually choose, but of course, if you go for the cheaper speakers, usually the sound quality is not as good. So whatever that gets you better into the mood and feeling it, and be able to hear the music and different parts of the music, or the instruments in the music, makes a lot of a difference as well. If let's say you're doing ballet, the best music would be playing on the piano, but depending on whether you have the luxury of space, that's another thing to consider. But in sound systems, we're basically talking about speakers. So speakers, ideally, if you can, invest in a good quality speaker. Last but not least, we're going to talk about furniture, and furniture is going to be something that you're actually going to consider, especially if you want to build a commercial dance studio. Now, why I say that is because, you know, when people come in, you want to make sure they have a space to put their bags, you want to make sure that there's a space that they can sit down, or perhaps stretch, or perhaps put their shoes. So I'm going to show you in our dance studio how we actually arrange all of our furniture for that. Now, if it's a home studio, of course, you don't have to have so many furniture inside. In fact, the more better the dance studio, the better it is, because you have more space to dance in, right? So bear in mind, the furniture is definitely up to you, but we're going to show you how we actually set up our dance studio here at Free Movement. Just know that at Free Movement, we are here to support you in your every need when you build your dance studio. So just to recap very quickly, for flooring, what we definitely recommend would be our Marley floors, as well as our sprung floors, proper professional dance floors. For mirrors, ideally you want to have shatterproof mirrors, because that makes a lot of a difference. Injury prevention is key here. Bars and equipment are going to be dependent on what genres of dance that you do, or fitness classes or fitness workouts that you do. So this is your personal preference. For lighting, we definitely recommend spotlights. For sound systems, we definitely recommend quality sound systems. Last but not least, we also have furniture over here. So again, that would be dependent very much on you. Now, if you're ready, let's head over to our Free Movement dance studio. Okay, so welcome to our dance studio over here. I'm going to show you the different aspects that we're talking about, but most importantly, the first thing we're going to talk about is flooring. So, as you can see over here on our floor, this is our Maple Oak Marley dance mat. Now, if you're not sure about the different dance mats that we offer, head over to our website, freemovementsg.com, and you can see the different mats that we offer. I'm going to quickly show you the different mats that we have over here. So this one on our floor is Maple Oak Marley mat. So this is the other color that we have in grey maple. The one on our floor is called Maple. And then of course we have our Freedom Mali mat, which is 2 mm thick, our Studio Mali mat and our Vivace Mali mat. All of the different types of Mali mats and the different descriptions for it are all going to be in the table that we've created in each of our Mali mats on our website. So go check that out. Now, of course, the other thing to also consider is you can actually do a sprung floor under the Mali mats. Now you can go check out our sprung floors on our website as well. But the most important thing to make sure of is that when you are actually building your dream dance studio, that flooring is the most important consideration of all. So make good your investment, make sure that you have proper professional dance floors because it makes all the difference in preventing injuries. How we actually lay our Mali mats when it comes to installation is actually in a whole roll. So we don't do it piece by piece like a vinyl flooring. There's no click and lock, so we do a whole roll of Mali mat and then we roll it over. We do installation via Mali top tape or Mali double-sided tape. This is for the flooring, so definitely want to consider where your investment is going to go to help dancers prevent injuries. Preventing injuries is number one. It makes a difference for yourself and for anyone else who's going to dance with you. The second aspect we're going to talk about that is huge in the dance studio would be mirrors. So of course at Free Movement we actually do have shatterproof mirrors, but most importantly you also want to make sure that regardless of whether you do wall mirrors or our shatterproof mirrors on wheels, it's really up to you, but the one thing you want to make sure of is that the mirror height is going to be taller than where you are. Now I'm 163, I think, right now still, after giving birth. But I think I'm 163 right now, but you want to make sure that the mirrors are at least 1.8 meters and above, just so that it can make the space look bigger. But most importantly, if you're a dancer that is really tall, if you are very tall, you want to make sure that you can actually see yourself in full. So, up to you. If you have mirrors on wheels or if you have a big space where you can have two sides of mirrors, it's always really nice to have that. But over here we have one side mirror, which is definitely good enough. So it's up to you how you want to make the space, but I'm going to show you something that makes a whole lot of difference if you need to cover this mirror because you want to rehearse and you want to see that, you want to make sure you can memorize the choreography, or if you're taking RED or CSTD exams and you want to cover the mirrors so that, you can go through the whole examination format, or if you want to rent out your studio to anyone who wants to take the exam, this other aspect is going to be really important for you, and I'm going to show you that right now. Dun, 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 dun. Curtains! The beauty of curtains, of course, is that you can actually cover the mirrors when you actually need the mirrors covered. And of course, that is important, especially when you actually need to rehearse. Now, I tend to do this when, I want to rehearse, I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and I want to make sure that I can still remember everything that I've just been through. And I'll just pop over to cover the mirrors and just rehearse facing the same direction without changing my orientation and still be able to dance. So having curtains are definitely really important. I think this is something that you should consider. I'm not saying you have to have it. In fact, a lot of street dance studios feel like they don't really need it, but curtains are also a really good way of reducing echo in a dance studio if that's something that you are actually struggling with. The heavier the weight of the curtains, the better it is at absorbing the sounds. All right? So definitely think about the curtains, whether or not you need them, but if not, you can put them away. Third aspect we're going to talk about would be bars and equipment. So bars and equipment are definitely going to be up to you in terms of what you actually need and the genres of dance that you actually dance to. So of course, bars, nice to have if you're going to actually do any practices, rehearsals and stuff like that. But definitely try and choose a bar that is height appropriate and there is also, good for you. So these here are portable bars, but we also have the mount on wall bars. So that's something to consider if you want to, keep your floor space empty. But the good thing about portable bars, you can actually move them around. So that's also another thing to consider because you can actually break up your dance studio space and look at different directions as you do your bar work. All right, so that's definitely something that you want to consider, portable bars or mount on wall bars. The other equipments that we also have over here in the dance studio would be these things. So over here in the dance studio, we have our rosin box and we also have some loop resistant bands because these are what we consider as equipments that are needed in a dance studio. Rosin is definitely something that a lot of ballerinas use, to make the shoes less slippery and stuff like that. So it's up to you which of our money mats you get, and if your flooring is fairly old or if the studio that you're dancing at is really old, rosin is definitely something that you want to get. But of course we have created our own liquid rosin, so if you're very interested in finding out what they are, because we make this ourselves, nobody else has it I think right now. So if you want to get them, it's over at our website freemovementsg.com as well. So yes, we actually have two different types over here, and of course we have our loop resistant bands, which looks like that. So again, equipments like these are great for fitness, are great for different things that you want to do in the studio, because dance is not just dance is also fitness and making sure that you have the strength and the agility to make sure that you last throughout the whole dance performance, dance class and everything. I'm going to show you the other equipments that we have. So we've got yoga mats, we have drinks and a fridge in our dance studio, but again, those are things that we feel are necessary for having classes over here. Alright, the fourth thing is going to be lights. Camera action. Lights are going to be something that you also want to think about, because lights are going to actually break up the space a lot better. So over here at Free Movement, we have different spotlights. So we've got front-facing lights and we've got top-down lights that goes all over the place to, kind of break up the whole light. So I think that's going to be something that you want to consider as well. Of course, there are traditional lights like just the LED strips and stuff like that. So it's up to you which one you want to get, but spotlights are the new in thing. So that's something to consider when building your dream studio. Sound systems. So the different types of sound systems that you can get, definitely lots of options out there. So if you're able to mount it on the ceiling, that's a good thing. If you're able to mount it on the walls, that's nice. Over here we use a portable speaker, which is the Harman Kardon speakers. I love the speakers, one of my favorite speakers in the market. Both speakers are amazing as well, so I definitely recommend that. Of course, there are different brands like JBL, that's a good brand as well. So it's up to you which brand you want to go at. Of course, there are the high-end brands and the low-end brands. So long as you feel good listening to the sounds and you're good with the sound quality, I think that's great. So definitely I think that our Harman Kardon speakers here are a great investment. It definitely fills the whole room with the sound and it's actually quite even, so I really like that. And it's very crisp as well. So that's something that I like to consider for the speakers. So let me know down in the comments below what speakers you like for your dance studio as well. Alright, the last thing you want to consider are furnitures. So for Free Movement, because we have a lot of people coming in and out of the dance studio, we have a shoe rack over here. When you come in through the door, you put your shoes here. And then of course we have a dustbin. That makes a lot of a difference because you want to maintain your studio cleanliness. And then we have a fridge over here. And then we also have some yoga mats, and we've got some yoga blocks, some weights. And another thing is also a bag area where you want to put your bag. So if, let's say, you're building your space with an ID, that's another thing to consider. Let them know that you need a bag space, all right? So yeah, these are different things that you need. Now, if you have any furnitures that you think are essential, one of the other things I would say is perhaps a chair. So a chair, sometimes when you're dancing, you want to sit down, or if you're an instructor, you want to sit down. A chair would always be nice as well. Something that's not too low, a little bit higher, it's always more comfortable. A little bit cushy would be good. So that's another furniture that you might actually want to consider. Of course, over here, we also have our fake plants. So we want to make sure, to make the space lively and make it your own. Bonus tip, if you actually want to make your space even more lively, you might want to have some live animals too. Right, Tiger? So with all the different things that we've covered over here, which were the things that you actually thought about and which were the things that you didn't think about and went like, whoa, okay, that's actually something to consider now. Now drop it in the comments below which you thought was the most useful tip for you in building your dream dance studio. But most importantly, also know that here at Free Movement Solutions, we're here to support you in your journey in building your dream studio. Whether it's a home studio, commercial studio, more than happy to help you in ensuring that you're able to dance for a lifetime, ideally injury-free. Now, if you found this video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on that notification bell so that you know we have a new video coming up for you every single week here at Free Movement Solutions. Now, if you have any questions, put it down in the comments below as well. We'll definitely answer you. But more importantly, I want to make sure that you are aware that if there's any questions at all, DM us at any point of time. Here to support you in any way possible because we at Free Movement really care for you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Take care, stay safe, and keep dancing.